Welcome. I'm Bryson,
And I'm Haley.
and welcome to the 6 o'clock VEH News. As you can see, we've had some budget cuts and have had to move our office for the same newscast. Now, Haley, I'm feeling energized this morning. Do you know why?
Because we're talking about electricity.
Electricity. Now, I've heard you had some interesting statistics on electricity.
Yes, the United States has 6% of the world's population but uses 30% of its energy.
Wow, and how do you know that?
Because I'm a genius.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Now, the U.S. uses almost 1 million gigawatts, 3 million gigawatts, my apologies, of energy each year. That's a huge energy need. Now, we try to fill that with non-renewable resources such as fossil fuels and renewable resources such as wind energy, solar energy, etc. And today we'll be talking about some of those sources as well as some new sources that have just been discovered. Now, Haley, I have a question for you. What did the ocean say to the beach?
I don't know.
Nothing. It just waved. But how much did it wave, and how can we harness that energy for our own needs? To answer that question, we'll go to Bryson Waverson out of the office. Bryson? Thanks, Bryson. Now, what you guys just saw at home was a wave energy generator. Now, how these work is they're placed off the coast at a depth of about 30 to 40 feet. Inside these generators are flaps. As waves hit these flaps, they turn repeatedly. Then, through cables, the energy is transported back to the coast where it can be stored. Now, the good thing about this energy source is that it's renewable. The waves never end. Also, waves are reliable and powerful. No pollution is created in the atmosphere, although these generators do cause a problem for wildlife and tourism. But again, some people think it's worth it. Actually, Scotland has created a new wave energy farm, with 50 wave generators off their northern coast, and they hope to use it to supply nearly 10 to 15% of their power by 2025. Thank you. Back to you guys. Thanks, Bryson. That's a great renewable energy source. Now, Haley, I've heard of another energy source called methane hydrates, burning ice. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't know much about it, so let's go to Bryson Isaacson out of the office. Bryson? Thanks, Bryson. Now, what you just saw may have surprised you at home, but that burning ice was not regular ice. No, it was a methane hydrate. The reason it was burning is because as the ice melts, it's releasing large amounts of methane gas, which is flammable. Now, methane hydrates have been used to track global warming in the long term, but recently, Japan has discovered a way to harness the energy from these methane hydrates. See, Japan is a small island with little resources, and is constantly looking for ways to supply its energy needs. Since methane hydrates lie along geological fault lines, it could be its savior, as the Japanese have figured out a way to extract the natural gas from these methane hydrates, a fossil fuel which can be burned and turned into electricity. Now, however, the gas can be hard to extract as it's hundreds of feet below sea level, but new fracking techniques could provide the answer. Now again, methane hydrates do release pollution and are fossil fuel, and could run out in the near future, but they are much bigger resources than our own natural gas reservoirs here in the U.S., so it's worth looking into. Back to you guys. Wow, Bryson, what a hot topic there. Now those are the energy sources of the future. But Haley, what are the energy sources of the present?
Well, 52% of the United States, 52% of the United States uses coal for electricity.
52%? Wow. Let's go to Haley Colerson for more.
The picture you just saw was drawn by a professional artist in Albany. In the picture, we're describing the process of coal. Coal is a non-renewable resource. The non-renewable resources take millions of years to accumulate. Coal is a major fossil fuel. The process of coal is that mines are first dug up or pumped from the ground. Once the coal is, then it's transported. Once the coal arrives at its destination, it's dumped into coal mine. The coal is then cut down into smaller pieces, allowing it to burn faster. The fire heats up the coal, and then the fire burns and then heats up the water, and then creates steam. The steam travels through pipes and generates the turbine. It generates energy, then it's stored. Back to you guys.
Wow, thanks Haley. Now, coal forms over millions of years, correct? Now, we could run out of that in 200 to 300 years, and that's a huge problem, and also it creates lots of pollution and CO2 in our atmosphere. Now, according to those problems, we might need some renewable energy sources, such as wind. Now let's go to Haley Wenderson out of the office.
What you guys just saw was a wind turbine farm. Wind turbines are powered by wind, and the turbines create electricity, which is then stored. Wind turbines are blown and spin by wind. Some advantages of wind energy is that wind never stops. It's free and non-polluting. Some disadvantages of wind is that it kills birds, takes up space. It takes 100 wind turbines. To generate enough power for one neighborhood. Wind turbines are noisy and unsightly, and you need a lot of space for it. Back to you guys. Well, thanks, Haley. I heard about a new turbine. What's that all about?
Well, there's a new wind turbine called a vertical wind turbine. It's more efficient, and the good thing is that it won't kill as many birds because the propellers don't spin in a vertical motion, more in a horizontal motion. So birds won't be killed as much. And that just shows you that renewable energy sources, while they may have problems now, those problems can be solved in the future. Now, we talked about two different sets of energy sources, the present energy sources and the future energy sources. Now let's go out to another worker to figure out which of these sources is better. Thanks, guys. Now, we talked about present energy sources like coal and wind, and future energy sources like methane hydrates and wave generators. Now, in my opinion, wave generators and methane hydrates provide a much bigger opportunity than coal and wind turbines. The reason for this is while coal is the cheapest and most efficient resource now, it will run out and be useless in about 200 to 300 years. Methane hydrates may not be as efficient as a resource now. It is an untapped energy source that has huge potential. Both energy sources pollute, and both can damage ecosystems, but methane hydrates are a much bigger resource with more material than all other fossil fuels combined, with about 100,000 trillion cubic feet of natural gas under the ocean. As for wave generators, they have endless potential, as does wind energy, as both the air and the ocean have large amounts of energy. However, the energy supplying the wave generators is much more regular and predictable than wind. Also, wave generators eradicate problems with wind, like land use, noise pollution, and the startup cost of a wave generator farm is much less than that of a wind farm when powering a regular neighborhood. Thanks, guys. Back to you. Bye from my multiple personalities here at the office. See you guys next time.